it's so obvious that they played through Zach Edey in the post. Just going back to, the special year that he's having thus far, leading his team to being #1 ranked in the country with one loss versus Rutgers. They also do a very good job of offensive rebounds. So that they knowing that, Zach is going to, shoot the ball if he gets it in the post with the one-on-one matchup, and they get themselves in great position to get a second opportunity. They also play well from the perimeter with those two freshmen. Smith is having a good year, as well as Fletcher, Lawyer. They're very patient offensively. They don't make too many mistakes. They do a great job of taking care of the basketball. And then lastly, defensively, everyone talks a lot about their offense, but their defense is, nationally ranked. They do a job of protecting the paint, three-point line. They get back in transition, and they make you work for every bucket that you get. So if you got any answers on how to, stop them or help us offensively, please. I'm open. I'm all ears.
Hey, Juwan, how is your son Jett doing?
Well, Jett is he's going through the rehab treatment. In Jett's mind, he's saying he's going to play, but it's all about the health, and health is more important than any game. That we want to have a healthy Jett out there instead of a guy who's hobbling, and he just wanted to be there to help his team because that's how he's wired mentally. He's also a competitor and he wants to win. And he feels that when he's not playing, he's not helping the team. So the key is just continue to go through the rehab treatment and just try to help him get healthy. Is when I see that he's ready to go health-wise, then that's when he'll be ready to play. And I'm not saying that's going to be next game. I don't know when it's going to be.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, if you expect him to play tomorrow, but you don't know. All right. And has he practiced at all? Or?
Oh, no, he didn't practice yesterday, no.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Juwan, you mentioned Zach Edey and the season he's having. Most teams don't have a 7-foot All-American of their own to sort of counter with. Can you just sort of talk about Hunter and that matchup individually and how key it's going to be in this game?
Well, it's not going to be an individual matchup with Zach and Hunter. I know on our end it's not. Defensively for us, we're not going to focus on letting one guy guard him because it's very challenging as a team. Everyone to get an opportunity. Hopefully Doug doesn't get matched on him, but I guarantee you Doug will give it his best shot. But Zach is a player that we faced before. Hunter played against him last year twice and the year before that, so they both were very familiar with one another.
Hey, Juwan, speaking of Doug, how have you seen him grow into the role as more and more is being asked of him for a young guy? How is he developed in this short period of time as a freshman?
I think Doug has developed very well, and he's just getting better and better game by game. It's very challenging for a guy straight out of high school to step right in college and be asked to lead his team, and then playing for we're playing in one of the best conferences in basketball, the Big Ten. That's another challenge itself, and Doug is growing as an all freshman was. And, you will have some moments where you're going to see some great flashes, and then you're going to have some moments where you may make a freshman mistake, but that's a part of the growing pains that as a coach and as a team, we embraced and we will live with, because we trust Doug. And, his being a level competitor that he is, that's one of the reasons what makes him so unique, because he competes. He wants the big moments. He never shies away from it. And he also very smart enough where he can know how to make plays for himself and others.
Hey, Juwan, we've seen Joey Baker look faster, more aggressive on the floor. He's taking the ball to the rim more. Have you seen his game grow, specifically after his hip surgery over the offseason as well?
Well, it's not easy, when you come off of surgery and, many of us expect, yes, quick results, but it takes time and it takes a level of comfort, health-wise, where some days you're going to feel good, some days you're going to feel bad. It also takes a level of confidence, being able to move and, and trust that, the way you move out there on the floor that, you can be able to, if you have times where you feel like you can explode mentally, but does your body say you can explode to the basket mentally? That's two different things. And with the way how he's transitioning, want to do everything right, want to help his team win and want to be effective out there on the floor, both ends of the floor. It's not an easy transition, but he's getting more and more comfortable out there, which is good. We're going to lean on him, not only just for what he does on the floor, but also his leadership off the floor, because he's been in college for now his 5th year, and he's also played for a high program, as you guys well aware of, and he's also played in big games before. So he has that experience that we at times lack, that we need more and more of, because, when you have a freshman in Doug, freshman Jett, freshman Terrace, you can say Kobe, yes, he's a sophomore, but, he's really like a freshman out there as well, because it's his first year really playing the bulk of minutes that he's getting. But, that's a really young team that, in your rotation. And, if you look at teams around college basketball, those who are at the top, they have at least 3 guys that have been in the starting lineup before, or you have at least 5 or 6 guys that have been in your rotation before.
Juwan, speaking of the youth on this team, I remember talking to Hunter before the season about how Eli really took on a lot of that leadership last year, and Hunter really wanted to embrace that with this team. What have you seen in terms just of his presence the last few weeks as the veteran guy with a lot of young players around him?
Well, you can never replace an Eli, and that's how valuable he was to his team, because of not just, his production on the floor, but his leadership on the court, and then also in practice. One of the things that Hunter, we asking for him to improve on is leadership in practice as well as in games, and that's a part of his growth. He's not there yet, but he is embracing it, and as we continue to keep holding him accountable, and he hold himself accountable, I would feel that yes, he will never be the Eli or the leader that we had, but we need definitely leadership. One of the guys that have been a great leader for us consistently has been Jace, and we just need more leadership from guys that are in the rotation, consistent rotation minutes I'm speaking of.
Yeah. What does that look like? Is it like vocal leadership, speaking up in practice, or
yeah? I mean, leadership comes in all different ways, and in sports, it comes in in practice, how you lead and how you conduct yourself by your energy, your effort, and your voice. Leadership comes from how you prepare yourself in a weight room, the work you put in when no one's watching. Leadership comes from when you the work you put in on the court when there's non-practice days, or you come in early when you're in between classes and get extra work in. Leadership also comes in games when things are not going your way, and when teams going on runs, or we're not doing our habits, and leadership easy. You can definitely lead when you up by 20. I mean, that's everybody can be a leader then, because it's everything's going great, and that's when all the rah 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 comes out. So there's always different ways to lead, but let's keep in mind too, everyone is not a leader. And that's the key, that should definitely be said, and everyone doesn't know how to lead. And that's where I know as a coach, you can't always be that leader for your players because, your voice sometimes being heard a lot can get stale.
Juwan, as you approach the halfway point of Big Ten play this season, are you pleased with how your young team has played, or do you anticipate them perhaps playing with maybe a greater sense of urgency as they try to accomplish some of those goals that they set in the preseason?
Oh, damn right, I'm pleased with how my team is playing. You're second in the Big Ten, and you want to, you're still fighting and clawing, and you've had some heartbreaking losses, whether it's in non-conference or Big Ten, and you're still giving out the energy and effort, and the buy-in is still real, and there's a lot more season to be played. Yes, of course, I love the way our team is playing, and granted, yeah, there are some times when we've gotten away from some of our habits, but that part will continue to keep growing, and I trust it will, and we will continue to keep teaching it.
Hey, Juwan, does the game day routine change at all with such a late tip being after 9 p.m. tomorrow?
Man, I'll tell you one thing, I'm not a big fan of 9 o'clock games. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's a part of it. You just have to embrace it. I know one of our coaches in our league, he's another one that has been publicly, and I'm not saying his name, but you can go and do your research. He's publicly have talked about these 9 o'clock games and how many they've had. Just leave it like that.
Juwan, I'm wondering about the added juice of the #1 ranked team in the country coming into Chrysler. Doesn't happen very often. Do you think your team and the crowd will embrace it?
Well, I know this. It's great to have the type of support we've had in Chrysler, and on Thursday I expect there's going to be another great crowd that's going to be there. I'm hoping that it doesn't continue to keep snowing too much because we want everyone to be able to arrive safely and pack the place and bring that energy and juice that our team is going to be looking forward to embracing versus the #1 team in the country.
Juwan, hey, first of all, we all have your back on the 9 o'clock games if you need support with the TV networks. But I guess I was wondering, a lot will be made about the Hunter versus Edey matchup. I get that, but I guess what other matchups or even just factors do you think will determine the outcome of this game?
Well, and just I touched on it earlier. That all the great things that Purdue do on the offensive end. You got to embrace the competition, and you can't allow them to just dictate, by being the most physical team, by, beating you on offensive glass, like how they've done by averaging 12 plus a game, or by beating you up in the paint with the Edey, whether it's Edey finishes or Edey putbacks or layups by Smith. You can't allow them to shoot open threes, especially in transition by Lawyer and, First and Morton and Smith. And I keep going, they're #1 for a reason. They're very good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, Juwan, of course, from your playing days, you know what it's like to play with a number of freshmen and young players. And of course, a couple starting freshmen for you this year as well. I wonder, Purdue starting a couple freshman guards, you touched on them early. I'm just wondering, now they're 19-1, which is their best start in program history. Does that make it all the more impressive that they're doing that with a freshman backcourt as well? And how impressed are you with their young players?
I've been very impressed with their team, their overall team. But the anchor obviously is Zach. And when you have a big presence, a big talent like that, there are going to be open shots coming from somewhere. And they've embraced it, and they developed both Smith and Lawyer. And Lawyer has a chip that is pretty unique. He's a competitor. He can shoot the ball. He's smart. He's savvy. Just have a great feel for the game. And I see so much growth in that young man from the time I saw him in high school. But I saw a chip in him in high school as well. So, you know, he's gonna be special in our league. Smith the same. You know, you look at the facial hair, you think he's a little bit older. But then you also watch his game, you still think he's a little bit older because he seemed like he's been playing for a while and he belongs, man. So it goes to show you, like, you know, I was thinking about this, you know, as I was coaching my team. I'm like, damn, I never knew why everyone always said that Fab Five was a special group. And, you know, I was just, when you're living in the moment, you know, for me, I was just so dialed in to just getting better, to helping the team win. And then you see, like, a freshman team make it all the way to the championship. Then you go second year as a sophomores. I'm like, damn, that is kind of hard. And it's like, now you get into coaching, you're seeing how the inexperience of freshmen, you don't find that uniqueness quite often. And now I understand exactly how special it was being a freshman at the University of Michigan and a part of the Fab Five, and had the success that we've had. You know, that's so hard. It's so hard.
We have time for one more, and it will be from Paul from the Michigan Daily.
Yeah, Juwan, after like the prostate cancer game on Sunday, how important is the pink game for drawing awareness to the coaches versus cancer?
Well, I mean, it's cancer, as we all know, it's one of those, you know, diseases that it stinks, man. It's just, it has taken a lot of our loved ones away. And I know personally in my family, we experienced a tragic loss due to cancer. And we've also had some in our family where they beat cancer, or guys that we know, friends that are still fighting the fight. And so I really admire and appreciate the Michigan Athletic Department in getting on board, staying consistent with it, and helping bring the awareness and supporting those different various organizations to help fight cancer. So our basketball team, coaching staff, support staff is all on board with this great cause.